16 on the beats and I lay the verses well. Essential personnel. 16 on the beats and I lay the verses well. Essential personnel. 16 on the beats and I lay the verses well. Essential personnel. 16 on the beats and I lay the verses well. Essential personnel. Craig Mack condolences. Sean P. Prodigy praises. We gotta be placing our love token bouquets in the hands of our favorites while they're still able to.
Welcome everybody to Powaful Impact, where we interview people who had a powerful impact on the community, music, or the culture at large. I'm your host, Soul Rack, and I got my co-host tonight, Rocker. This evening, we have the honor of interviewing Hakim Green from Channel Live and the legendary Boogie Down Production. Not only that, he's the founder of 24 Hours of Peace Incorporated and the CEO of Mad IZM Incorporated. So we got an excellent guest tonight, and we're going to dive into his story. But while we do it, we know that you're going to have an opportunity to get involved as well. But we want to go ahead and give him a chance to tell a story, talk about upcoming projects. We're going to dive deep tonight, and so we're so grateful that we have the honor of interviewing Hakim Green. So Hakim Green, how you doing this evening?
I'm good, man. I'm great, actually. Everything's good.
All right. Well, we welcome you to the podcast, and we're glad to have you here tonight. And, you know, I'm just going to go ahead and call it like I see it. You're definitely a legend, and I appreciate what you're doing for the hip-hop culture. You holding it down for the golden era. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
You're just doing it.
Yeah, I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry about that. Can you repeat that again?
I said it's only right. We do what we do.
Exactly. I like what you said. We do what we do. And that's one thing about Powerful Impact. We do what we do. We bring people on who making a powerful impact in the culture or in the world at large. I want to start it off with the first question. Where are you from originally, and how did that shape you as a person?
Born in Orange, raised in Orange, New Jersey.
Okay.
Shout out to EO, little town, towards the Bricks, North New Jersey, Essex County. Jersey is in the 70s.
Okay.
You know, highly influenced, by New York via the radio. WBL 92 KTU, and then later on 98.7 Kiss and Hot 97.
Okay.
Influenced by New York, but New Jersey is its own thing. So it's like East Orange, but it's like more urban, suburban, if you know what I mean. It's
I
like
know.
But real gritty.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It got that urban, it's like a suburban vibe, but it got that urban streak to it too. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So coming up in the 70s and the 80s, it was pretty safe. We had our thing. For the most part, it was pretty safe up until about the 90s. That time I was on with adult things, so I kind of missed the trap. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you know what it is because, the roots.
Yeah. Your mic breaking up a little bit, but we'll work through it. No problem at all. Just wanted to let you know if we do ask for a repeat or something like that. Just wanted to let you know. All right.
Now I'm gonna get your headphones to cut the air.
All right, no problem. But okay. But yeah, I like what you were saying because you was telling your story like how it was like suburban, urban, but you was in like a environment we could say suburban to a certain point, but you still had that street vibe to it, which that shaped you as an artist and that shaped you as a person. Am I correct on that? I just want to make sure that I spoke it like you said it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, let me
no problem. Go ahead. You good.
How's that?
That's perfect. Thank you.
Perfect.
Greatly appreciate it.
Yeah. So, it's I went to summer camp every year.
Okay.
I got a chance to quote unquote escape, which just gave me another understanding of how life was outside of the quote unquote hood. So I can relate, but at the same time, I was always trying to think outside the box and see other things.
Sure.
And then, early on coming up in like the Nation of Islam, and then, when the Black consciousness movement hit within hip hop culture in the late 80s.
I remember that.
It give you a different lens to look through, and analyze things and see things. And, You know, that's kind of why I got into education. From 1990 to 94, I was a junior high school teacher.
Oh, dope.
Which is how I met KRS-One, taking young folks to go see him speak. Myself and some friends of mine started an after-school program called Act Now, African Children of Tomorrow Now. First, we had it at East Orange High School, and then we moved it over to the junior high school where I was teaching. And you know, that whole conscious movement in the 80s, man. X-Clan, Public Enemy, KRS-One, of course, Big Daddy Kane, Tribe Called Quest, Queen Latifah, you know, it was red, black, and green.
Oh, yes, it was.
Afrocentric. It was, you know yourself, know your history, and all that.
The medallions and everything. Yeah, that's what
all that, you know. So that's what the music was about. And then being at college, you know, in New York City, where there was so much consciousness and a wealth of knowledge on the street in New York City. You know, like the street vendors would be selling all type books from Dr. Ben, Ivan Van Sertima, all these great historians and authors. And, you know, you getting introduced to, you know, blackness from a street level. You got like hood of the hood, the thug of the thug in conversations and builds with, you know, doctors, lawyers, professors from NYU right there. You know, we out in the street getting it in, debating right there. There was no social media, no internet, none of this going on. You know, you would go get a book, read the book, and then go meet me at Washington Square Park, and we talk about it. Yeah. And you know, that was a really good time in hip hop culture. And we thought it would expand.
You went. Okay, you came back in. Okay,
I said we thought it would expand.
Yes.
And magnify. But it didn't.
That's true.
It's about 91. The brakes got put on. You know, so yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Rocker?
It's a pleasure talking to you, Hakim, and I heard the latest single, The Cipher.
Yeah.
And and I really love that song because the Cipher, it represents communion among rhyme warriors, and even as far back as African civilization, you had African griots going from tribe to tribe to spread knowledge and wisdom about how to build up, you know, their tribe, you know, using science, mathematics, you know, to, you know, build the local economies. What does the word cipher, beyond just the musical definition, what does cipher mean to you?
Completion. Completion, but not as in completion as an end, completion as a new beginning. You know, when you deal with, you know, God mathematics, knowledge, you know, to cipher, or knowledge to born and then cipher, you know, you're dealing with completion to go to another level. When you look at the numeric system of, you know, it's really 0 through 9. And then when you get to the next one, you add a 0, which takes you to another level. So that's what that cipher does. That cipher empowers. You know, when we talk about, you know, collectivism, community, like you said earlier, people coming together, that builds power. Completing the cipher, everybody coming to drop, you know, their perspective or drop knowledge, how they see it. And then we synergize, we synthesize all that to get to another understanding, which takes us to another level. Yeah, and all that's the cipher. And absolutely, the cipher is so important in hip hop culture. Because that's, like you said, that's what we commune. That's what we come together and build. Whether it's knowledge or rhymes or breakdancing, or of course the DJ spin on 2 ciphers, or 3 and 4 ciphers, depending on the skill of the DJ.
That's true. That's true.
You know? So yeah,
for real.
Yeah, so that, you know, the cipher.
Oh, and as far as the, you know, the idea of the cipher, you know, when you was talking about how Black consciousness, it started as a community idea based around organizing around the needs of the people, and then later it became something that it wasn't intended to become. Do you see, do you see Black consciousness, starting to make its starting to take shape in Black society?
I think what we've witnessed over the last couple of years, especially with the George Floyd rebellion, the murder of George Floyd and the rebellion that happened afterward. When you see, the Trayvon Martins, the Mike Browns, the Tamir Rices, the list goes on and on. Sandra Bland, Eric Garner, it just goes on. It's too many, just too many names, too many names to name.
Yeah, exactly.
And with social media and the ability to share information, and all these killings, these murders are happening, and everybody's seeing them, so it's kind of hard to deny it. Back when I was growing up, I don't want to date y'all, but when I was
you good. Share.
I was growing up, something happened, say in California, we didn't get that information. Something happening in Minnesota, in Milwaukee, or Florida, we didn't really get that information.
True.
Now with social media, something happens anywhere in the world, you immediately get it in your hand, you're able to share it to your community. And that's kind of helping to wake people up to something. But, we go back to sleep, we wake up, we go back to sleep, wake up, go back to sleep, wake up. But ultimately, real consciousness, not just Black consciousness, but consciousness, is, just the awareness of self and how you connect to the greater whole, and then being able to stay healthy within it all and spread health. Because, as you become older and you're able to do less physically, you start to look to do more mentally, more spiritually. You start to have that type of impact. So yeah, not to get too mystical, magical with it.
I'm enjoying it. You good?
Yeah,
you good?
Yeah. So that consciousness doesn't always have to look like red, black, and green, Black Power, Ungawa, Black Power. You know how it look like that. Sometimes it's just being so secure within yourself and in your surroundings that you're able to positively influence your surroundings and the people in it. So yeah.
I like what you said about securing your surrounding and influencing others through different platforms, whether that be through music, through your knowledge, through your life, by you being an example, through life skills, all of those ways that you influence people. And that's one of the things, that's the reason why we came with the idea of Powerful Impact and brought someone on like you, because we can show how we can make a powerful impact on our community and the world at large. But I just want to kind of channel back, and I appreciate what you said about the consciousness, saying that of course we want to have Black consciousness, but we want to have complete consciousness, which is a great thing, because at the end of the day, if we sleeping, then we're not really conscious. So we got to stay awake so we can be conscious. And so I just want to kind of go back into your story a little bit more. How did the group Channel Live form? Like, what was the catalyst, or how did you guys came to connect and decided, okay, well, this is the move right here. We're gonna move officially as a group as Channel Live. Like we was talking about Black consciousness and consciousness as a whole, as far as it elevating people and taking them to a level where we get to a certain point where we can influence others, and as a result of that, we better the culture, and not only just hip hop culture, just the culture at large. And so I want to kind of go back a little bit in your history. I want to dig a little bit, because I want to learn more about how did the group Channel Live form? Like, what was the connection, or what was the opportunity that caused this to become a reality?
Me.
Okay, well, hey, that's a good one. Word.
Nah, in the sense that so I was like on a path. I was on a path. I went to Wagner College.
Okay.
Because I wanted to basically major in club music 101. I was in the clubs. I got introduced to the clubs in '84, the Fun House.
Christmas,
okay. 84. I saw Dirty Fresh and Slick Rick do Lottie Dottie for the first time.
Oh man.
That's
epic.
Right. It's like, this is like, Funhouse was one of those spots, and then I was still young, so I couldn't really go out like every week like that. But when I turned 17, it was on. I was in the clubs every week. So I was supposed to go to Texas Tech.
Okay.
I was like, Texas Tech. He was like, yo, you ever been to Texas? I'm like, nah, like, cause I was a Dallas Cowboy fan.
I am too. I will confess.
I had to give them up, but that's a whole nother story.
Well, we gotta have a second interview, Hakim. You gotta explain that to me.
Yeah, Jerry Jones, Colin Kaepernick, Donald Trump. There it is.
You got it. Yeah, that's true. That's all you need to say. We good. All right. No doubt.
So people explaining to me that Texas like didn't have trees, didn't have like, it was like just open farmland.
Okay.
Like there was no going out, there's no club scene, no party scene. There's none of that. Like on the weekends, if you can't get home, you're staying in the dorms and there's nothing on the campus. So I thought about that. I'm like, man, that means no heartthrobs, no Studio 54. So I went to Wagner College in Staten Island.
That seemed like an easy decision once you added everything up.
You know what I mean? Like I had a ferry ride away, you know what I mean?
Word.
Hop on the ferry, ferry's free.
Yeah.
Hop on the ferry. Man, I'm good. So
yeah, I think I would have made the same decision if it was me too. So I agree. Word.
So while at Wagner, there was a young lady who came on the campus. Her name was Nicole Folks. Rest in peace. And she was she had a record deal signed to Sleeping Bag Records, and she needed dancers.
Okay.
So me and my boy Mark started dancing for her, and that turned into me doing. Well, actually, that was much later. So we were dancing for Nicole, and I was dancing for somebody else. I'm traveling the world as a dancer. I used to dance for Naughty by Nature when they were the new style. I saw that group form at my senior year talent show too at East Orange High School. That's a whole nother story. Seeing Naughty by Nature, the new style, as a senior, KG's a senior, and Tretch and Vinny are juniors in high school.
Okay,
like, I seen that happen. That's legendary.
Oh,
that's
no doubt.
But that's another story.
New Jersey on the map, baby.
New Jersey's on the map. East Orange. What's up?
What's up?
So I'm dancing for Princessa.
Okay.
And by this time, that's how I met Tuffy. I met Tuffy at Montclair State College, battling Wyclef and Proswell from the Fugees in a dance battle in the Cipher.
yeah. See,
you had the dark skinned brothers against the light skinned green eyed brothers, and that's how me and Tuffy met dancing.
Okay.
So I saw him on campus, like the next day or a couple of days later, and I'm like, "Yo, I've been dancing for these different artists. You know, we're looking for a new dancer. What's up? You want to get down?" So it took him about 3-4 months of me twisting his arm. Before he decided to come on the road and get this money.
Okay.
And I mean, we were out like 2-3 times a week. You know, he's 19 years old. You're making $500 a show times however many shows you got per week. It's a nice little summer for us.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So then that turned into us doing our little demo.
Okay.
And we were in like a group called Nigerian Nation.
Okay.
You got the 2 light-skinned dudes with the green eyes, and there was a third member named David. And a group called Nigerian Nation. The song was called African Morning.
Oh, word.
My very first record.
Oh, word.
So, yeah, on some Milli Vanilli stuff, too, because I didn't even write the rhymes.
Oh, word.
You know, the dude who, the guy who had signed Nicole, and we eventually worked with him and his partner, Troy Taylor. And they were Charles Farrar, Troy Taylor. They were trying to make their bones in the music industry, trying to make some things happen. So, you know, they had a record, a single deal with Select Records. Okay. And then we were the front group, and then they wrote the music and produced the song or what have you. But I'm like, I want to write my own stuff. So me and Tuffy started writing our own stuff. doing our little demo. The guy would eventually release us because they didn't believe in hip hop at that time. They wanted to do R&B. They ended up very successful in the R&B world. Boys the Men, Carl Thomas is one of their proteges, and Sweet Lady by Tyrese. And they did their thing, but they wasn't really feeling the hip hop thing like that. So they gave us our walking papers and said, well, maybe you should link up with KRS-One. You're a big fan of KRS-One. So that's exactly what the God did. So through my after school program that I had, I would take the young folks up to go see KRS-One speak. We went to Ramapo College, William Patterson, and then he would end up coming to Montclair State where I was a student. And then by the time he got to Montclair State, he got so used to seeing my face. When he saw me, he recognized me and was like, yo, I want you to open up my lectures for me. So I was opening up lectures for Chris, for a couple lectures, like 2 or 3. And then maybe like a year and a half later, I hit him off with the demo.
Okay.
And then that started the KRS-One connection, and we got the deal at Capitol. We signed to Chris's management company. Big shout out to KRS-One and G Simone. Front Page Entertainment. Big shout out to Big West Powell. Mad Lion was one of the artists. I know y'all remember Mad Lion.
Oh yeah.
Shelly Thunder. Supernatural was over there with us. And we
dope
roster. Nice roster. Solid. Real hip hop in the building. Real hip hop in the building.
No
Real
doubt.
hip hop in the building.
Oh, no doubt.
But then we would sign the Capitol in winter of 94.
Okay.
We signed in 94, dropped Mad IZM late summer 94. Single was released in the stores sometime that fall. Album dropped March of 95. Station Identification. Yeah. And we know that classic, baby. Mad IZM. We do. And you got the hat on and everything. Mad IZM.
Word. And we're going to get into that in a moment. No doubt.
Reserve.
Can you talk about how the recording process of Station Identification? Because one of my favorite songs from that album is Lock It Up. Just like the energy, and it's kind of like it was very primal, and it was like just everybody saying a bar, and then you take that syllable and then somebody else continue with. How did you guys decide how to structure the songs, considering the types of MCs that you are?
So we had this rhyme style, metaphorical concepts in a freestyle context. So the rhyme was freestyle, not off the head freestyle in a way seemingly no structure.
Okay.
Seemingly no structure. But when you break down the rhyme, you see that the whole verse is a metaphor for something else as a whole, not just the line, like the lines themselves. So the lines themselves may seem disjointed, but when you take the whole rhyme, Sex for the Sport of It is another one that's like that. Lock It Up, the metaphor is your locks. So you're talking about what's going on around you and how you might be locked up, or how you might be freeing yourself from the locks, all the while you're talking about your hair. You know what I'm saying? Using the different metaphors. In fact, we had a song called The Blunt Is on Fire that was on our demo that was got changed into Mad IZM.
Okay.
The blunt is on fire. Quickly pass the lighter, let the Philly blunt burn.
Oh, word.
Burn. And we flipped that whole thing, right?
Yeah.
G Simone on the hook.
All
And so the first verse, I'm the weed. So all the metaphors is how, my rhymes are like this, my rhymes like that, relative to weed. Tuffy's rhyme was the blunt. So I split your back like a Dutch man, dump the guts, all that. And he's talking about his rhymes or his style or his whatever. And then the third verse is when you listen to our music, it's like you're getting hot. So all the metaphors in that rhyme. So Chris was like, so we started the album with Salam Remy.
Okay.
So Salam did the first 3 joints, Lock It Up, Alpha and Omega. and Homicide Ride.
Oh, damn.
And then Reggie Burrell came in and did the next 2, Station Identification, the title track, and Sex for the Sport of It. That made 5. Chris was on tour while this was going on. So we got the deal. We got signed to Capitol. Okay. Me and Tuffy immediately go into the studio. Chris is on tour. So we go in with Salam, who was at the time one of the hottest producers in the game. Still one of the hottest producers in the game. Legendary super producer. Nas and Amy Winehouse and all these jokers over the years. Salam
right. He got it.
Right. So he did the first 3 joint, Reggie did the next 2, and then Chris comes back off tour. We go to D&D, we play him those 5 joints. And he's listening. He's like, yo, what the fuck is this bullshit? Nigga, y'all niggas is wasting time. What the fuck is this bullshit? That shit sound glingy. Hey, that shit sound glingy. He used to go glingy.
Oh, glingy. I like that.
Glingy. He was like, where's the boom bat? Hey, where the boom bat?
Yeah.
He goes, and y'all too educated. Y'all use too many big words. Y'all too lyrical miracle. You don't understand. You gotta dumb it down. You gotta dumb it down for these niggas. These niggas ain't trying to hear that. Nah, y'all got rhymes. Y'all can rhyme, no question. But these niggas ain't trying to hear that. You got your college friends. I get you, whatever. But these niggas is not trying to hear none of that bullshit. Y'all need to be busting y'all gun, smoking weed. And I ain't gonna say what else he said.
Well, okay, no problem. But you gave us enough. You gave us something.
So we looking at Chris like, wow, this is KRS-One. Knowledge reigns supreme over nearly everyone. This is the God MC lyrical GOAT. He's the GOAT. Nobody, the teacher. Come to the teacher. Mission said, come to the teacher. And this dude is lyrically, who's get with Chris? You know what I mean? Like, not many. Not many.
Not many. You're right.
And he's telling me that I gotta dumb my stuff down. He goes, all right, listen, we're gonna do a new Wee song. That joint, it's cool, but y'all too lyrical miracle on there. Y'all gotta dumb it down. We're gonna do this with. So he gets the SP. Now, mind you, when he comes off tour, we go to this event M2 made through. It was at this famous club spa on 13th Street in Manhattan.
All right.
It was like a conference about how horrible rap music is.
Oh.
Because of the sampling and the dumbing down. Right? So Chris's Jeep gets broken into, and now mind you, you got floppy disk. Drum machines, the SP1200 was his machine of choice. That was his sword. You got the MPC, you got, all these drum machines and, machines that take floppy disk. You collect sounds, you put the sounds on the floppy disk, and you put the floppy disk in the machine. It allows you to manipulate it and then create what you want to create. So somebody took all of his discs, all of them. Like every last sound that he had, because as you go through, it's like digging in the crates. You just collecting sounds. It could be a table knob. It could be a light switch on. It could be, some sampled drums. It could be a snare. It could be a hi-hat. It could be anything. Like, you got to collect sounds all over throughout your life. And you just walk around with sounds. It's just my sounds. Somebody steals all his sounds. So Mad IZM was the first song with his new sounds.
Oh, wow. That's dope.
Right. As a whole, he had to go and collect sounds before we went to the studio. Had to go, get some shit, put them on floppy disk, bring them in, load them into the SP. So he's loading the sounds in. He comes up with the beat pattern, the drum pattern, the drum pattern. He's adding the fillers, and then he gets the sample, the loop, I'm not gonna tell y'all what it is. Everybody who's serious about they digging in the crates know what it is, and that's
oh
what
yeah,
it is.
yeah,
So, he picks up "I Got You" up into the stage, which is from Black Moon, and he needle drops all the way down the record, and we get to "I Got You" open. All we do is spark Mad IZM. That's the hook. And boom, we went in there and recorded our verse. Oh, so when me and Tuffy wrote the song, we were on some joke shit. Like, we gonna purposely write this shit so corny that he's gonna laugh at us and say, "I just do it your way." So he goes in the book. He goes, "I'm gonna show y'all how to do this. You gotta hold niggas' hands. You gotta hold niggas' hands. Niggas is slow. You gotta hold a hand. The episode starts when I walk down the block. Niggas simpleton. No extra lyrical miracle. Real simple. The episode starts when I walk down the block. Reach in my pocket. Yo, where's my knot it? Follows me. And he's making words up, making connect. And he gets to the joint and he lays his verse. All right, cool. I'm off the channel live. All right, now y'all go. Now Hawk, you go. What you got? So I spit my joint.
Yeah.
And wake up in the morning, got the yearning for her herb is halfway down my verse. It's halfway down. So I get to wake up in the morning, got the yearning for herb. Yo, you wildin'! You wildin'! You bugging! You need to start your verse like that. And Tuffy look at each other like, yo, this dude is wilding right there. You need to start your verse like that. Wake up in the morning, got the yearning for herb. I wrote that on some, I'm gonna be so corny. Nobody says yearning for herb. That's like,
true.
That's like,
true.
What's the yearning for my love?
Gap Band. The Gap Band.
Yeah. And you're like, come on, bro. That's true. That's the 70s, bro. What are you talking about?
That's true. You don't really get that word.
It's the 70s. I'm yearning for you. Come on, man.
Word.
Jokes ain't trying to hear that. Was I wrong?
True.
Was I wrong? So, we versed the whole joint down, whatever. We leave the studio. Me and Tuffy like, yo, so what you think? And like, I don't know, man. I was smoking weed. Now, mind you, I'm a school teacher. I'm going to school the next day to go work and go teach. I just recorded Mad IZM, smoking some of the best weed your lungs had ever smoked.
Word.
Going to work the next day in front of a bunch of kids who love hip hop. They love hip hop, and they all know I love hip hop. I rap. They know I rap. So I'm telling them, I'm signed to KRS-One. No, you not, Mr. Green. Stop lying. You ain't signed to KRS. You bugging. No, you not. No, you not. I'm like, nah, for real. You'll see. Nah, okay, watch. I was like, wow, you'll see. And then I disappeared. And then about a year and a half, 2 years later, I'm in the tunnel.
Oh, okay.
I'm in the tunnel. Getting blitty. One of my kids roll up. Mr. Green! Oh shit, man! It's Mr. Green! Oh shit, Mr. Green! I'm like, oh God, here we go. Shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Was that after the single drop or the album drop?
It's after everything dropped. They see me in the tunnel. It's like
word.
It's hilarious.
Yeah. Did that change your life a lot? I know you talked about the student that you saw after it dropped, but how else was your life changed as a result of either the Mad IZM track or the album as a whole? How did your life change?
I may have more money.
Well, that's important.
Money helps.
That of course.
You get to see the world, and you get access to the industry in a way that you didn't have access to it before. Your network definitely grows.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, a lot changes. You know,
Yeah, sure.
a lot changes, and
Okay.
a lot stays the same too.
do you get new friends that become your friend as a result of your success, or does people change on you as a result of your?
I mean, people definitely change, but I'd say more. You know, how can I say? Like my friends have pretty much always been my friends. Like I got to say pretty much the same friends I've always had. Right. My friends didn't necessarily change. I got more friends. Some of the friends I have are in different boxes now. Our friendship isn't the same, but we're still friends. So yeah, you know.
Okay.
How important was college radio around the time Mad IZM dropped?
Man, that shit is like the internet right now. With college radio was like YouTube now. Like, college radio was like, it was everything, bro. College radio was everything. Like if you look at Wu-Tang, how they have to talk about Stretch and Bobito, you know, which is college radio. You know, that whole, you know, it's just college radio is everything, bro. Hip hop culture. If it wasn't for college radio, it would have never crossed over into the mainstream. You know, it would have just been a street thing. College radio embraced it. And then, you know, a lot of these college kids got influenced by the music, got influenced by the sound. And then they would go on to become your future record label executives and label owners. And yeah, so that's how like the culture changed. It's like, you know, it's the kids who grow up with the culture, you know, grow up. But they still like what they like.
Yeah.
And like you see, like a Steve Rifkin, you know, and, you know, young college kid, his father was connected in the music industry, but just on another level, very powerful man in his own right. But this new thing called hip hop and rap music, it hadn't really, you know, proven itself past like the Run DMCs, you know, was big. He had a couple here and there, but you know, as a genre, having the staying power to be mainstream music, to take over that what rock and roll and country western was, to take that over, like we have it on a stranglehold right now. You know, so yeah, that's how important college radio was.
Yeah, I think
is.
Yeah, you know, Wake Up Show, Stretch and Bobito, Solo Vibes music. They were what made it so great, they were closer to the community, and that's what made it so great. You know, you had, you know, and if you listen to go on YouTube, I did this a couple of months ago. I was listening to an episode of Stretch and Bobito. They were talking about community issues that was happening around New York City and nationally. So you had, you know, not only just the music, but you had people calling in talking about what's going on in education and in healthcare, and you know what's happening, you know, in the streets. And I think that's something that can be built upon. Like, what do you think about that?
I mean, we got the internet right now. That's where everybody's attention is. You know, the podcasting. You know, people are looking for other forms of content outside of music, and you see like the talk shows, all the different talk show platforms, like huge. You know, from Drink Champs to you know Wallow and Gilly to just across the board, Doggy Diamonds, and, you know, Joe Buttons, and you know everybody's got a lane. Even myself, we do Mad IZM TV on the Mad IZM YouTube platform.
I saw that.
Mad IZM Sports with KG from Naughty by Nature and Wes and Cliff. And you know, it's just a way for us to just build and have an audience. And you know, culturally, you know, hip hop is the thing people want to dig into, but it's just not just hip hop, because across the board, this internet thing is like, you know, in that sense, has become liberating in that sense, enslaving in others.
Exactly.
But in that sense, you know, you can start your own show, get it popping, and people tune in. They tune in, spread the word. You got something interesting, people will hop on. So, you know, yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Rock.
Oh, the song "Free Mumia," from KRS One's self-titled album, like that that moved me a lot, and just his story, being from the Black Panther Party. Then he learned radio journalism, and he, by circumstances that wasn't his fault, he wound up railroaded, going to jail. A lot of his constitutional rights was constantly violated. What inspired you and KRS One to write a song in tribute to this political prisoner?
Yeah, I had been working around the political prisoner issue since the late 80s. Okay. Working with the campaign to free Black political prisoners of war, supporting Daruba bin Wahad, who was ultimately freed in 89 after doing 19 and a half years. So just doing that type of work, sending care packages, writing letters, staying in touch with, folks on the other side who put that work in the 70s and the 80s. Yeah, that's how I knew it. That's how I knew Mumia. Like Mumia was a very important figure for my immediate circle, my immediate cipher. My close friends, like the folks that I started the after school program with. I was deep into the activist world, building, organizing, and you had to know who Mumia is and the movement. You had to support that. You had to. It's imperative. And that's what we did. So when we got called in to do the song with KRS for his album, that beat was actually supposed to be for the Fugees, but they were going through some things. So KRS said, you know what, I'm just gonna keep this for myself. What's up, guys? Y'all wanna hop on this with me? All right, what we gonna rhyme about? Let's rhyme about political prisoners. Nah, let's rhyme about C. Dolores Tucker in them. Let's rhyme about both. So, Chris came up with the hook first. One electroatlantic equals we. Instead of fighting, then why don't you go free Mumia? And it was easy to write there. He said, let's do like a story that takes you somewhere. So it's real. It's an interesting structure, the way that's structured and how we come off and play off each other and what we're saying. Yeah, because my last verse is ill in that I predicted Arnold Schwarzenegger into politics in that rhyme.
You're foretelling the future.
Oh yeah,
Oracle.
That happens a lot with Channel Live.
Yeah,
like a lot of what's going on now, we had been talking about like the '90s, trying to give people a heads up, and
Yeah, well, that's one of the reasons people need to go back and listen to the album you dropped. Well,
identification.
We're not just gonna talk about that album, but everything you dropped, it has significance in the culture.
Yeah, let's listen to Armageddon.
Yeah, we're gonna do that.
That Flavor Unit album. That was a really dope album. I actually like that album better than the first one, aside from Mad IZM, of course. But I really liked Armageddon. We had some dope stuff on there. Yeah. As an entire project, I like that project a lot. And that was Benny Boom's Jump Off. He his first video as a director was Wild Out 2K, which was the single off that album.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I'm gonna ask you something that's more current, and I did hear you talk about it, but I want to give you an opportunity to talk about it again because it's such an important experience for us and hip hop. So, what was it like doing the verses with KRS One? Can you take us through the Barcade Center that night, and for such a historic moment?
Oh man, that's it, historic. I mean, it's Big Daddy Kane, KRS One.
Say no more. Say no more.
Like, like that's a dream come true. Dream come true. Share the stage with KRS One and Big Daddy Kane. Well, kind of, sort of. Swizz, Timbaland, VERZUZ, Barclays.
It's crazy.
Crazy. Fat Joe,
Oh,
Buster,
man. Yeah.
Jadakiss, Eric B. It's crazy. Yeah, man. It was phenomenal, bro. Phenomenal, bro. Yeah.
Now, you know what? I'm so, and I would say, and I know I'm not alone in this thought, but I'm so grateful for the VERZUZ because they're giving people, I feel, in the newer generation, a chance to experience what we had growing up. You know what I'm saying? I grew up with the sounds of Channel Live and KRS-One and different things like that. That's part of my life experience. But some of these younger artists, they don't really know much past, 2000 or Lil Wayne. That's about the most experience that they had. And I'm not knocking what their experience is because we want to respect that. But being that we're hip hop enthusiasts, I feel, the ones that's here tonight and many others, I'm grateful for what the VERZUZ is doing because we're able to see the KRS-One, the Big Daddy Kanes. We saw Meth and Redman going at it, and we saw the Dipset, and we saw
Fat Joe and Ja Rule.
Fat Joe and all that. I mean,
Snoop Dogg, DMX before he passed away.
Word, you know what I'm saying? And it was
Man, listen, Babyface and Teddy Riley.
That's what I'm talking about.
Gladys Knight and Patti LaBelle. Earth, Wind, and Fire and the Isley Brothers.
I know, that's what I'm saying. So we got that experience, and now they're experiencing it because I think that keeps the history of hip hop stable. You know what I'm saying? Because they have a pathway now. They're seeing the blueprint and what we saw growing up and what we experienced being artists and what we experienced as being a part of the culture. So I'm so grateful for what the VERZUZ is doing. I'm grateful for what you're doing too, because I like the fact that you're bringing back, because if you notice with music, the DJs haven't been, you don't really hear too many songs where the DJs are scratching or on the turntables. You'll see them at the shows. You'll see them possibly, if you're part of that network, where you'll see you'll hear some music with scratching or just DJs doing their thing. And I like that in the video where you showed the DJ scratching at the beginning. I like hearing that. And I even like the whole appearance of the video that you have for the Cipher, because you see the graffiti in the background. You hear the DJ scratching, and the way even just the Cipher itself, just showing that, because I feel like what we're seeing now with the VERZUZ, what you're doing and many others, we're creating a template for the next generation or the upcoming generation, because that way they can have a pathway or a blueprint to follow. I want you to speak to that a little bit more, because
the album that the Cipher is on is called Aubrey. That's my middle name.
Okay.
And that's had a whole nother story behind it that we won't get into. But
all right. One day.
Yeah, one day.
All right. We'll leave it open. Okay.
So it's a tribute to 80s hip hop.
Okay.
The album through and through is scratching, break beats, samples, the concepts, themes, subject matter. It's 80s hip hop. What we were going through in the 80s. It's crazy. I got a joint called Stolen Art with Carl Thomas on it.
Oh, that's dope too.
But well, let me first say the entire album is produced by Ron Lawrence from the Hitmen.
Oh,
yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, right there. It's crazy. It's crazy. The whole entire album. Got Carl Thomas on the joint called Stolen Art. Stolen Art is about how they took the culture from us with drugs. It's crazy. I got a joint called Culture Freedom with CeeLo and Freeway.
Oh, that's crazy.
Culture Freedom is, we got to teach the people that. Oh, G Simone's on the hook, by the way. Big shout out to G Simone.
Big shout out
to G Simone. She blessed that. And actually, earlier we were interrupted by a phone call.
Okay.
That was Do It All from Lords of the Underground.
Oh,
who's hopping on the album. And the chief, DJ Mitty Mid, who's the chief of staff for the Honorable Mayor Ras Baraka of Newark, New Jersey. Okay. They're getting on the joint.
Oh, man. That's going to be
this song is called Real Hip Hop for the People. And then G Simone also blessed me with a hook on that, too. That's fire. So I had to shout that out.
All right, no problem. That's what we're here for.
We got Took a Test, which is all scratches by PP Armstrong, who also did the scratches on the Cipher. Okay. Shout out to him.
All right, dope.
What else we got? We got Jewelry, Old School Head, Smack, Reckless.
Okay.
I'm missing something. Yeah, but Jewelry is fire. Oh my God, Jewelry's fire. Jewelry's fire. Jewelry. Yeah. That's what we get when you're talking to an old school head or OG or elder. You're supposed to get some jewelry.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we're supposed to be sharing with the young folks, some jewelry. Since niggas like jewels, I'ma drop a jewel. Can I drop a jewel? Can I drop a jewel?
Oh, that's what I'm saying. You heard it here first on Powaful Impak from Hakim Green. Word. Got a little snippet. Thank you for sharing that for us tonight.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Recently there's been a lot of renewed energy around ciphers and battle rap, particularly with conscious MCs like Loaded Lux, B-Dot, King Los.
Ooh, yeah. Ooh, he's fire. Oh my God, he's fire.
Yeah, I really love how these brothers they're taking something that's niche and then making it bigger besides just generic. Nothing wrong with it, but generic gun bars. Like, what are your thoughts about what Loaded Lux and B-Dot and King Los have done within battle rap to keep that spirit of competitive environment?
I just appreciate the battle rap scene. Period. They kept hip hop on life support for a minute. Really, keep it 100. Big shout out to Smack and big shout out to Smack and Beasley and all the other
ARP
and all the other organizations out there that do their thing. Like battle rap scene is it's kept hip hop, like real hip hop. Real hip hop.
Real hip hop. That's
real
right.
Hip hop.
That's what we want here. Real hip hop.
Real hip hop.
Yeah.
Kept it interesting. When just be honest, kept it interesting. When Loaded Lux came out against Calico, big shout to Calico, who also was he's nice.
He's from my hometown.
Yeah, man. D, right? Detroit, right?
Yeah, from Detroit.
Yeah, man. Big shout out to Detroit.
Detroit in the building.
And but that just the platform for Lux to just be able to teach. Just crazy. And then B-Dot, oh my God, B-Dot is crazy, dude. He salute to him. And there's a lot of cats out there on the underground, where the real hip hop has always been, on the underground, making a big name for themselves. And I'm loving it.
I watch battle rap in this organization called Legendary Ciphers. Okay. They organize ciphers in Union Square every week. I watch that more than I listen to albums because it's improvisational, it's raw, it's the rawest expression in hip hop. And I think, I like that it's niche. Like, I don't like, a lot of people think that it has to be, want it to be bigger and, reach, greater heights. But I think some things are just meant to be niche. Like, some things are just meant for you. If you know, you know.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like,
I agree. There's a place, a special place for that. In order to hear something, you have to go to where it is. You have to go find it. You have to be a part of the culture to really understand the significance. All that means something. And when things are too saturated and it gets too commercial, too big, it loses that essence. It becomes cookie cutter. And they got us on the hamster wheel with the culture, and it's unfortunate. But listen, gentlemen, I want to spit a bar.
Go ahead, let's do it.
All right, so I'm gonna just spit that rhyme, and I was gonna.
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
If pimping ain't easy, what the fuck is revolution? Rappers be spitting straight noise pollution. Here's a clean glass of water. I'll show you how to eat to live. What goes around comes. Let me show you how to give. There's something that you hear when the nine is at your rib. In the street, tuck your jewels. Thugs drool like baby bibs. I try to be mindful, write something for the kids. Talk it like I walk it, rap it how I live. I came up blue collar, strive to be a scholar, but I couldn't eat the love and starve without the dollar. The pressure and the stress is enough to make you holler when the landlord's at your doorstep and the devil's on your collar. They call me a slacker because I won't sell crack for the cracker. I call women queens and I love to bury blacker. Some chicks get it twisted. They'd rather be called bitches with their ass in the air like everybody's supposed to kiss it. It's a simple lesson. You get what you deserve. Is life a bitch or just a pimp with a perm? Seeing mommy tricked out made a little heartburn, but it's something she'll forget when it's time to take her turn. When will the children learn it's much better to earn? But when my niggas put in work, they like to make the metal burn. End up in the system, it's all systematic. Manchurian candidates, waving automatics. A product of a project launched in the 80s. Chemical warfare meant to kill the crack babies. Now as the world turns, it's just a story because keeping it real got my sons in purgatory. In between heaven and Hades, like earthquakes in Haiti, the fat lady clears her throat and then plays harp for the babies. They say I'm such a mystic, lyrics something mythic, but I make it so plain with details and specifics. I'm just gifted. I'm young and I'm black. Some represent the game. I represent the fact that God helps those who helps themselves. So when God helps you, he's really helping himself. Make every day have purpose, the science of life. Every breath's another roll is a science to dice. Learn from your mistakes. Try to learn from others. You'll get one roll at life. You won't get another. You have to learn the tricks because some niggas be on the gaff. On some funny business, but that shit won't make you laugh. Thought he had the bread. Was it wonder, not the wheat? Wonder how it's coming back because my connect ain't getting beat. That's jewelry.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. And you heard it here on Powaful Impak from the legendary Hakim Green. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for sharing that with us. We do appreciate that, King.
Respect,
so thank you
respect,
for sharing
respect.
that. Thank you for sharing that. Rocket, I want to give you an opportunity. I know you just heard that powerful rhyme, bars, or verse. And I just want to make sure you get a chance to follow back on that because that's a dope. He just spit some real shit to us right there.
That's $5 million worth of jewelry right there.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That bar about chemical warfare that resonated with me.
Oh man. Oh man.
That's it, man. It's not a war on drugs. It's a war with drugs.
Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate that you shared that tonight. I'm gonna tell you reason why. Because I feel like the music has. Remember, I know you was talking about how KRS was telling you guys, okay, well, you have to make it a little simpler for people to pick up because it was at a different level. But I feel like the music today, it's not simplified so people can understand it. I just feel like a lot of people have dumbed it down. And so I'm so grateful, again, that you brought up the Cipher. I'm grateful for the lyrics you spit tonight. The reason I said that because we need more conscious hip hop. We need hip hop where there's a message, so we can not only be educated, but we can be uplifted. And a part of that, and that's one of the powers that we have as hip hop artists, is that we can speak truth to power, and we can be able to get in people's ears and get in their hearts through our vocal ability and that platform that we have. So I'm just going to ask you a question. I wanted to give you flowers because you deserve those. Because a lot of times, I think what happens a lot of times, we don't really show appreciation for artists until they're gone. And we need to start doing it while they're alive and while they're here and let them know how much we appreciate them. And I think that's one of the missing things that we need to bring back into hip hop culture. But on that note, we noticed that a lot of hip hop artists have passed away in the last year or two. And, because I grew up in the 80s. I don't mind dating myself. That's okay. I grew up in the 80s, 90s. I was pretty much a part of that hip hop golden era. And we lost some of those artists within the last year or two. How do you feel experiencing that? And you can elaborate as much as you want, or you can share how you feel. But I just want to give that opportunity because to me, when I hear the Cipher, when I hear the music that you're creating, it reminds me of the music that I grew up on. It reminds me of the music that was popping in the 80s and 90s. You added your own flavor, of course. Nobody takes that away. But it reminds me of what I've been missing. And I'm so grateful that you're doing it. What is your thought process hearing about these different artists that pass and just knowing this has been going on in a year or two?
It's down my health and wellness kick, B. Water, juicing, walking. In the gym. Trying to stay as healthy as possible. Yeah. That's it. Trying to stay as healthy as possible and as stress-free as possible. Last couple of years have been rough with this whole COVID, You know, we've never seen anything like this.
Exactly.
On top of everything else we've been going through.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's sad, but you know, gotta live. We gotta live. You know, you gotta enjoy your life as much as possible, because tomorrow's not promised to anybody. All you have is today, and you plan for tomorrow. Of course, you plan for tomorrow, but enjoy today. You know, that's it. That's what I get out of it.
Dope.
I wanted to. What was the book about Clive Davis that I think you mentioned it on Doggy Diamonds, but it was a great conversation about how Clive Davis he created the advent of the black music department, where it created a line of demarcation between urban and so-called popular music. What was that book called?
It wasn't a book. It was a think tank.
Okay.
There's a book on it, but the think tank was the Harvard Music Study, commissioned in 1972 to 74, I think, and it was commissioned to figure out how to take black music from black people, essentially, and they throw money at it, and that's when they created, you know, the first black music department at a major label. Because for a long time, independent labels collectively own the majority share of the music sold in America. The major labels actually sold a minority share, like collectively, against all of the independent. See, all these independent record labels all around the country, right? Think of these places like grocery stores. How you used to have the mom and pop grocery stores. There used to be, like, you know, family-owned record shops, or small independent record shops who could press up 45s and 12 inches or what have you. And they ran the show. And a lot of these small record labels were selling black music. Black music was the dominant cultural force in the 60s and the 70s. And it was, well, how do we take control of that? How do we capture the market share? And they studied it from that perspective. And it was throw money at it and create these music departments, and you hire these black people and you bring them inside. And once you have them inside, you control them now. You control the music, you control the messaging, you decide what hits, what don't. You know, you decide what message is hot, what message is not. And then hip hop was kind of like a rebellion toward that, not knowingly, and it wasn't purposely, but the independent record labels ruled the scene with hip hop music up until, like, you know, the 90s. And then you start getting these major record label deals, you know, the Bad Boys, the Uptowns, the, you know, you start to bring them in, the Rockefellers, you bring them in, even Def Jam, even Def Jam. You take Def Jam, you bring Def Jam inside Columbia, you bring Def Jam inside the, right? And then, which is, you know, for any young, you know, record exec, you know, your dream at the time is to work at a, you know, to have a position at a record label. You be president of so-and-so records. That's like, you know, prestigious. That's a pop your collar. You doing your thizzle. You know, and nobody's hating on you. You president of whatever record label, major record label. You're the man, right?
Right.
But what happens is they get rid of you, but they got the catalog. They get rid of you, but now they decide what's hot at radio.
That's true.
And you're gone. Yeah, you was hot then. You was hot, right? You was hot. You had a good run. But at the end of the day, we move you around, and we keep the value. And that's just the same old game that's been played, you know, on every level, you know, from, you know, and we still ain't figured it out, you know.
I think the worst. I think like joint venture is like the misnomer for a lot of people. You know what I mean? Because like it's not. I feel like it's not actually, you know, something that you own 50% of. It's just the parent company is just, they're giving you something to work with so that they can later on siphon all of the valuable worth, you know, from, from the music and from that artist, and then like you said, they just spit you out, and you left on your merry way.
Yeah. I mean, you have to really, because like I said, you get a job at a record label making $250,000, $300,000 a year, you know, putting out music. You know, it's like that's a success story. That's why you went to college to get that marketing degree. That's why you went to college to get that. Like that's why you went that route. You get there, you know. Like, what do you do? Do you not do it? Do you go? You know what? We're gonna keep this and, you know, keep this black owned, and hopefully black people will support it. That's a whole nother thing. Getting black people to support black owned. You know, finding value in.
That's true.
You know, it's like you almost have to go to them to get the stamp for black people to be like, okay, we fuck with you now. White people have to go, oh, he's our guy. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know, to some degree, you know, to some degree. But then again, like you were saying about that niche market, you know, you can cater to a certain group of black people and know that this is my cipher and this is where I'm cool at being. You could do that too. But it you know, that impact that we're looking for, like black people want their Warner Brothers. Black people want their their what is it? Their United
Interscope.
Their Interscope, their
Sony.
Like black owned major competing on the level of, but they're not going to support it until it's already that.
They're pretty much competing. They're trying to capture a sizable market that at least isn't there enough to support the resources to devote to it, right?
Yeah, it's I mean, it's just you know, you just gotta know what you're doing. Back to the question in terms of like, you have to know why you're doing this thing, and you know, build with people who are on the same page in that sense. You know, there was a Suge Knight, Irv Gotti, and so was going to start a distribution company, and that's the reason why so and so. I'm like, okay. So if you think about it, when Napster and the digital thing came, it kind of made distribution take a hit, right? So what would have been the benefit of owning a distribution company when people aren't buying physical copies of music anymore? What would have been the benefit of investing in the infrastructure, you know, to have your own distribution company when distribution is no longer needed? That's one of the conspiracy theories people peddle about the music business. Like, yeah, they were going to have their own distribution company, and then somebody stepped in and did that. Like, that doesn't make sense because distribution was on its way out. So there would have been no need to do that. And in thinking backwards, they probably saved them the headache of investing money they weren't going to return on.
And if anything, you know, investing in, you know, phone technology, like, you know, once phones were able to upload and download music, that would have been the time for you to invest, you know, in Nokia or Verizon or Sprint. The tech revolution was already booming, but the industry was already too late.
Yeah. It took a second for us to catch up. But that said, I need to do a lot of catching up myself when it comes to tech and just this new world we're heading into with crypto and you know, Bitcoin and what part NFTs are playing. Right now. There's like a whole learning curve that I gotta catch up on. And I think that goes for the same across the board with Black people. That, you know, there's a learning curve that we have to catch up on. But I do know there are people of color who are leading the way in tech. You know, it's not as bleak as people say it is when it comes to, you know, the tech world. I know what Nipsey and them guys were doing out there, you know, integrating tech and fashion, like groundbreaking. So yeah, it's like, you know, there's a definite need in that sense, and thinking toward the future. You know I'm big on history and big on context in the past.
That works.
But yeah, but we gotta pay attention more toward the future at the same, you know, to make sure that we're in the future. You know, yeah.
Yeah, I like the fact you said that, making sure we're in the future, because you answered one of the questions I had, which was going to be about NFTs, but you pretty much addressed that, which I greatly appreciate. But I want to ask you one question about your musical background, your story. What was your favorite song in your catalog, or favorite album in your discography? I know. I'm just curious about your response with that question.
I don't have a favorite song. It's too many.
Okay.
Yeah, it's too many.
Okay.
It's way too many.
Good.
Yeah.
I know when you create great music, it's challenging to decide which one is the number one. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is the experience or the journey. Yep.
You mentioned non-fungible, you know, things and cryptocurrency. Like these things are not regulated, you know, so that's why, you know, the government won't sign off on adopting it, because you know, government, there has to be some element of taxation involved. You know, that's, you know, because taxation is how, you know, we pay, you know, for everything in the public sector.
That's the key.
Because I was happy, I found that opening to ask about the Clive Davis.
Yeah, that was dope.
Book. It wasn't a book. It was some kind of presentation. You know, that Harvard commissioned.
Okay.
But I heard his thoughts about Clive Davis and how Clive Davis made Black music formulaic, and I thought that was interesting because
good point.
R&B is about as I think hip hop, no, not hip hop, rap music has become so formulaic. I can't really tell the difference between R&B and rap sometimes.
Well, it's hard because the reason being, back in the 80s and 90s, we were doing it because we wanted to do it for the art. Nowadays, once people start making money and they realize that, hey, I can do this type of track, and you know, I don't want to blame Ja Rule, but he was one of the people that kind of pushed that hip hop R&B. The thing about him, he still had a street edge to his music, so we overlooked it. We ain't making a big deal, but it did make hip hop and R&B more comfortable, because you realize before him would have, you know, you might have a whole album, might be one hip hop song with R&B, but Ja Rule was putting them out as singles and just.
Yeah, man, I'm having a great time, man, because before I came on, I was watching my Pistons get blown out.
Oh, word.
Yeah, man, like being in Michigan, following Michigan sports is terrible. The Lions are winning.
The Lions look pretty rough without your boy no more, man. Matthew Stafford, man. It just seemed like they kind of took. I didn't think it was that important, but they're going through the restructuring.
I was one of the few people that never felt that Matthew Stafford was the problem here in Detroit. I always felt it was bad coaching and the general manager not knowing how to draft players.
Yeah, that's the same thing Dallas has a problem with.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we got the same fucking problem. But yeah.
Man, at least with Dallas, at least with the Cowboys, y'all have winning seasons.
Yeah, that's true. But, you know, I think with both of us, and I speak, you know, for you and I think the problem is we hate being hyped up, and then when the season comes, we get let down every fucking season. We want to see progress. I mean, progress is not just making the playoffs. We want to see you make it to a Super Bowl. I mean, you know, I live in Tampa, And we had, Brady came here a year ago and they won a Super Bowl. That's what you want to see. You want to see your team win a Super Bowl. They jacked the fucking prices up. Now you got to spend like $1,000 to see a game. But before then, they couldn't give away free tickets. You know what I'm saying? Because a season could make a difference financially for the football team or the football club. And so I feel you, bro. I feel your pain, man. So hopefully next year, because it's too late now, hopefully next year you guys will get a change of scenery or something.
Man, at this point, I want Jared Goff off the squad.
I don't get him, man.
He's terrible.
I don't even understand why they thought he would be good. I mean, the only reason he was able to hold up a little bit in Los Angeles because the amount of support he had around him. But he's not a guy that's like a game changer. He's not an Aaron Rodgers or a Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it looked like he looked good, but see, the thing they got to look at is what team was he on and what type of support he had. Because you take away that support, he ain't gonna be shit. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
This guy could barely throw 20 yards down.
That's what I'm saying. All that play action, that ain't gonna win no games all the time.
Yeah, and like when the Rams made that playoff run against the Patriots, I think the score was like what, 6-3. It was like a low scoring game. I'm like, this is the time for you to ball out. Like, how do you know you're going to get to the Super Bowl again?
Yeah.
Like, to me, that was like, and that was, how often do you get Tom Brady in a low scoring game? Like, it rarely happens. So you got to seize the moment.
Exactly. That's why, I don't really care. I'm not a Tom Brady fan, but I will have to give, I will have to give Tampa Bay that they are smart, being smart about catching them up. So we appreciate everybody for tuning in to the Powaful Impact podcast with Soul Rack and Rocka, featuring the legendary Hakim Green. We definitely want you to go ahead and download his new single, The Cipher, and the new album that's getting ready to drop. We're so fortunate that we were able to get him to go ahead and drop 16 bars. So we're so fortunate that he did that. In addition to that, we want you to continue to support the things that he's doing right now, 24 Hours of Peace Incorporated, and he's also the CEO of Mad IZM. And I'm hoping that we can bring him back so he can speak to Mad IZM, because he definitely was able to. We saw the hoodie or the shirt tonight, the Mad IZM, but we want him to speak to that. So we're definitely looking to have a part 2. I want to bring in my co-host right now. He did an excellent job tonight as far as sharing his thoughts and even asking questions that triggered a lot of good information that we wouldn't have got without him being here. So I thank you again, Rocka, for being here. I definitely want to give you an opportunity to share as far as your experience tonight with Hakim Green.
I want to thank you, Soul Rack and Shauna, for inviting me here to interview Hakim Green. It's an honor and a privilege that I don't take for granted. And I'm so happy to have talked with Hakim Green, because he shed light on many subjects that I would not have known had I not, been on this show. His anecdote about how KRS-One listened to the songs that they had stockpiled for the station identification sessions and said that they were too lyrical miracle, and that what they're rhyming about is going to go over the listener's head. So they had to dumb down their message by rhyming about, by rapping in a language that the listener could understand, and he broke down how he recited his verse from Mad IZM, and then once he got to the woke up in the morning, got the unit for herb.
Yes.
KRS-One, he gave him a nugget. He said, start your rhyme with woke up in the morning, got the unit for herb, because that first line, that's how, most weed smokers start their day.
Exactly.
And then you can start to, begin your rhyme any way you want, but you have to draw the listener in. And I think Hakim shedding light on KRS-One's suggestion, that's a an idea on KRS-One's mentorship and the pivotal role that he played in Channel Live's development as a crew. You know, KRS-One produced, I think, 3 or 4 songs on Station Identification.
Yes, he did.
And the beats are great.
Yes, they are. They are. Boom bap for real.
Exactly. Okay. More boom bap.
Yes, we need more of it, don't we?
Exactly. So, I didn't know that he was really in touch with battle rap, you know, because sometimes like, you know, some artists they can kind of see above and beyond it, you know, but when I brought up Loaded Lux and B-Dot and King Los for their messaging in battle rap, I really liked his thoughts you know, about it.
Yeah, that was a great question. I'm glad you brought that up because that's what the Cipher is about too. It's about battling. It's about one person going against another. And right now, so that's why I like the fact that he said we can build or destroy. So I just want to invite everybody to subscribe to our YouTube channel, stay connected to upcoming episodes, and follow us on social media. Remember, Powaful Impact is more than music. It's a way of life. And we ask everybody to be safe, and we ask everybody to continue to make a powerful impact in their community.
Drowning in the flow, absorb emotions pouring from the bowels of my ocean floor. Water baby waiting in brain waves, melanated the same shade as the stone of my namesake. Spit blacker than brushing with activated charcoal. Shame Al Jolson's masquerading our souls. No ally of mine can shuck and jive or running behind lie of being colorblind. Some break the ethics just to gain acceptance. Ain't gotta take the safest method when you ain't afraid to face rejection. Escape convention, erase the templates. Paving your own lane's a great investment. Invest 16 on the beats and I lay the verses well. Essential personnel. 16 on the beats and I lay the verses well. Essential personnel. 16 on the beats and I lay the verses well. Essential personnel. 16 on the beats and I lay the verses well. Essential personnel.